Sherry thinks of what her father told her, that the love at first sight. She finally decides to try the chocolate and finds it really sweet. New disguises as a student and approaches Sid at school. She tells him that the man they caught had a powerful brainwashing that broke his mind and wasn't able to obtain any information from him. While New explains things, Sid is distracted and is thinking how Skell ended up signing him for a fencing tournament. New explains that they confirmed the presence of a named first child in the royal capital, Rex, the game of betrayal. New says that first child are those who maintain their sense of self despite being one of the children. Sid states he needs some time to think and leaves. At the tournament, Claire easily wins her fight. Next up is the student council president Rose Oriana versus Sid. He decides to show his 48 techniques he mastered. As their fight starts, Sid lets himself get hit and coughs fake blood, showing his secret background character techniques: spinning drill fall, bloody tornado, an unsightly defeat in the first round at the hands of an indisputable champion. The judge is about to give the win to Oriana, but Sid stops him. He continues to cause fake blood, but wishes to continue as he has 47 other techniques to show off. Sid continues to get one-shotted, but stands after each hit, wanting the fight to continue. Oriana is surprised by his determination and decides to get serious. As she attacks, the judge jumps in and saves Sid, announcing the end of the fight and Oriana as winner. The judge states it's too dangerous for Sid to continue as he lost a lot of blood. Sid protests and wants to continue as he still has 33 techniques to show off, but he is carried out. After the fight, Sid hopes he will still get a chance to show the remaining of his techniques. He is then approached by Sherry, who explains she watched his fight and he was incredible as he kept standing up. She then gives him cookies she baked as thanks and suggests they can start as friends. Sid isn't sure why she gave him cookies and what she means by starting as friends, but he accepts. She tells her father that they are going to be friends and he joins them. Sid recognizes him as an important person and notes that if he wishes to remain obscure as possible, he shouldn't be having a contact with him. After some small talk, he uses his injuries as an excuse to leave. Sherry is thinking about Sid and wonders if she should visit him since they are friends. She decides to go and talk with Alexia, who guesses that she is there to talk about the artifact, but Sherry denies it. Nervous, Sherry says she heard that Alexia is in a relationship with Sid and wonders if it's true. Alexia states they broke up, and in reality they weren't dating, but pretending to be a couple for specific reasons. Sherry gets quite happy to hear that and states she became friends with Sid the other day. She wasn't able to concentrate on her research, but now it's glad to learn they aren't together. Sherry leaves happy, but Alexia gets frustrated. After 5 days, Sid returns to school and feels that everyone is a bit nicer to him than usual. Oriana then comes to explain the election to fill the vacancy on the student council. At the same time, a masked knight from the cult decides to start their plan. He creates a barrier around the school, but seemingly only Sid notices it. Alexia returns to school, but sees the gate is closed and that he guard is dead. Sid notices he can't use his magic. Some men then come in the room claiming to be from Shadow Garden and explaining that they are taking over the academy. Oriana decides to fight them, but realizes she can't use magic. The fake Shadow Garden members are able to use magic, and one of them easily breaks Oriana's sword. He then attempts to kill her, but Sid rushes in and pushes her away while taking the hit and then falls to the ground covered in blood. Rose wonders why he gave his life away to save her, but then guesses he loved her, which explains why he was motivated to keep standing when he fought her and why he gave his life. The terrorists then move all the students to the auditorium. Sid starts hitting his heart, and as it starts beating again, he wakes up. He reveals it was his secret technique where he stops his heart for 10 minutes but maintains regular blood flow to his brain. His magic is still obstructed, but he can use it if he narrows it to threads. Rex enters Sherry's room. He states he is from Shadow Garden, but then wonders if it was Shadow Guardian. He explains his job is to retrieve the artifact, and once he is done, he is allowed to wreak as much havoc as he wants. Rex then sees the artifact in Sherry's hands, but as he attacks her, Glenn stops him. Rex is impressed he managed to do it without magic, and Rex explains it's easy when his opponent is weaker. While Glenn and Marco keep the terrorists busy, they let Sherry run away. Sid observes the movement of the terrorists and is quite excited about the whole situation. He is annoyed they were all black as they aren't doing it properly. He decides to show up at night and snipes quite a few of them so that he makes his grand appearances easier. He notices a girl running and almost begging to be captured and realizes she is Sherry. While she moves around, Sid ends up taking out several terrorists, saving her from being captured or detected. Sherry ends up tripping on the stairs and falls, but Sid captures her. He has several things to tell her, but first asks her to remove her noisy slippers. Before reaching her father's room, Sid ends up taking out a few more terrorists. Sherry finds the book she was looking for and explains that the artifact Eye of Avaris is the one that blocks their magic. The artifact absorbs and stores the magic from any user, but it can be programmed to ignore some magical frequencies. Sherry guesses it can absorb magical traces that are too small to detect or powerful spells that exceed its capacity. However, there isn't a human capable of doing the second. Once the artifact had absorbed all it could absorb, it will release all the stored energy at once. Since all the students are in the auditorium, Sherry guesses that the artifact is somewhere nearby, and if it releases all the energy, it will blow up and kill all in the auditorium. Because of that, Sherry states her father didn't publish his findings and gave the artifact to the government for safekeeping. Sherry also explains that the artifact she was researching is used to control the Eye of Varus and store the energy for a long term. Sherry plans on using the basements and reach the auditorium. Once she is close to the Eye of Varus, she will activate this artifact and stop the Eye of Varus from exploding. However, she left all of her tools needed to fine-tune this artifact in her room. Sid then states he will get them for her and leaves her. Rex reports to the cult knight that some of their men had been taken out by someone skilled and guesses that Shadow Garden is here. As Rex still haven't obtained the artifact, the cult knight threatens him to go and find it or he will kill him. The cult knight notes that once his ambitions are realized, he will be reinstated in the Knights of Rounds. Rex is walking with 4 men, but in an instant, he ends up loosing them, as Sid then hits him before Rex manages to react. Thinking Sid is fast due to an artifact, Rex creates a net around himself, stating that no matter how fast Sid is, the moment he gets caught in his net, he will know. He then turns around and sees that Sid is already inside his net. Sid proceeds attacking Rex and eventually takes him in a classroom with each seat taken by a dead terrorist. As Sid attacks Rex again, he notes that Rex is awesome. Meanwhile, New finds the dead body of Glenn and Marco, who is still alive but knocked out. A moment later, Sid arrives and starts looking for Sherry's tools. New explains that Marco was her betrothed. She then explains that Shadow Garden had infiltrated the academy and are awaiting orders. However, she explains that not being able to use magic is a risk and only the 7 shadows can do it. Currently, only Gamma is in the capital, but this type of mission isn't her fort. Even New herself can only use about half of her power right now. As she continues her report, Sid asks her to help him find some items. After obtaining all the tools, Sid explains he needed them to fine-tune an artifact and that Eye of Varus is absorbing their magic. Once they fine-tune the other artifact, they can neutralize the Eve of Varus.
Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell so as not to miss new videos. Bye everyone.